Years ago, everyone in the universe lived in peace and tranquility. There was no external element that disturbed people or disturbed their comfort. That is, until the Interstellar Manufacturing Corporation, abbreviated IMC, or future new name Hammond Robotics, colonized a certain number of planetary communities and named them the Frontier. This colonization separated everyone, whether human or otherwise, on the planets. This separation prevented the completion of colonization and caused the war called the Frontier War in the world, and therefore caused the death of many living things. And that was the end of the world. Frontier War lasted for years, and as a result, many people lost their families and loved ones. Civilization settled on the frontier with its last remaining creatures, but did not want to be controlled by the IMC, which was the cause of their loss. The Frontier War had no clear winner. After the IMC was destroyed, a cult called the Syndicate was formed. In order to distract the war and the suffering of the people who participated in the war, the sect developed an organization they call Apex Games. They offered fame and fortune to the winners in these games, which they planned to be held in the Kings Canyon area. At the head of this sect was Kuben Blisk, who was also responsible for the Frontier War. The foundation of Apex Games was simple. The 60 people who were left in Kings Canyon would shed blood in teams of 3, and the winning team would be known as the Legend. According to some, this blood struggle was brutality, and a show of strength for others. Many people have joined Apex Games to avenge their loved ones lost in the Frontier War, or simply to quench their hatred for the IMC. One of them is Anita Williams, born into a family of IMC veterinarians, or Bangalore as he used the nickname he used in the games. Bangalore, a mercenary serving in the final battle of the war on the Gridiron, is stranded on the frontier after the war and has no choice but to compete in the Apex Games. Ajay Che, once the daughter of wealthy war profiteers, left home when she learned of the damage her family had caused and enlisted in the Frontier Corps, a humanitarian organization that volunteers to help needy frontier communities. He devoted his life to helping others and participated in Apex Games under the name Lifeline to finance the Frontier Corps with his earnings. Renee Hope Blasey woke up one day in the IMC detention facility for the mentally ill with no memory of her previous life. She was also hearing voices in her mind that kept him awake for days, driving him crazy and whispering from far away. One day, just before she was drugged, a portal opened inside the facility, and someone in a purple helmet entered through the portal, scaring all the facility workers. This person scolded her for not reciprocating and introduced themselves. The person was herself, who came from another dimension to take revenge on the people who experimented on him. This purple-helmeted Voidwalker taught himself to trust the sounds she heard, and the device that allowed her to create portals to other dimensions when she needed it. Realizing that she was in Kings Canyon when she escaped, Blasey joined the Apex Games under the nickname Wraith to learn her past and reveal her true identity. Makoa Gibraltar, the son of 2 volunteers of the Solace Search and Rescue Association, was taking a pleasant ride with his boyfriend Nicholas when his father lost an arm in a fatal accident. This was the last time he cared about only himself. He joined Apex Games for the sake of protection, and devoted his life to protecting his relatives and colleagues, friends, acquaintances forever. Pathfinder, who has an unusual obsession with high five, is a unit of Marvin, which was produced during the Frontier War era, and who, in the depths of his memory lost as a result of an accident, joined the games in order to find out who its creator is, and possibly also took part in the Frontier War. Alexander Maxwell Knox worked as a research scientist for Humbert Labs, Frontier's leading producer of pesticide gases, at his motherland Gaia. Humbert Labs was constantly on the lookout for better and stronger formulas, with the plethora of pesticides needed to protect the crops of their growing frontier colonies. Knox was one of the team's brightest scientists and worked day and night to develop new gases. But he needed more than inert tissues to make sure his gas was working. As a result of his experiments, the place where they were working exploded and was engulfed in flames. Today, Knox is presumed missing and dead. His so-called body was found and identified by his mother, charred and unrecognizable. However, he is busy looking for new test subjects in Apex games nowadays, 10 years after the event. Unlike his three brothers, Mirage never fought in the Frontier War. He stayed with his famous engineer mother, Evelyn Witt, and became acquainted with holopilot technology. He studied the mechanisms and learned all he could about them. While working as a bartender in Solace City, he had heard of the richness and splendor of Apex games. However, he did not want to leave his mother alone, until his mother gave him a special holo device and told him to chase his dreams. Octavio Silva, who loves to get his fans excited by participating in adrenaline-filled races, decided to prepare a show that he had not dared before while experiencing one of his usual boredom. He prepared a gauntlet course where he would cross the finish line with a grenade. Little did he know this track would change his life completely. Silva, who lost his legs in the explosion when he completed the track, was deplored because the doctors said him that he would not be able to participate in the competitions again, and he asked help from his old friend Ajay Che. When Lifeline made bionic legs for herself, Silva thought these legs were too cool for casual competitions and decided to join Apex games for some extra adrenaline. Kuben Blisk, head of the syndicate that organizes Apex games, has recruited talented people to boost the reputation of Apex games. One of the recruits was electrical engineer Luke Paquette. Paquette was training his daughter Natalie next to him. Natalie lost her father around the time she invented the modified containment ring, an important development for games, which is the damage circle used to gather people in games, and she decided to join the games under the nickname Watson in order to make her old father proud. Taijun Park, another name working for the syndicate, was a computer engineer for the syndicate. The software engineer who developed the drone technology, which has a great importance in the publication of Apex games, was accused by the syndicate of killing his own sister. In the anger of this situation, Park fled to take revenge from the syndicate and find answers about the people who controls it, and joined the games under the name Crypto. Maybe he wasn't a trained fighter, but he was pretty good at hacking systems, and this ability was a leaping point in Apex games. He destroyed the Repulsion Tower in Kings Canyon, where the games were held, and caused the Leviathans living in Kings Canyon to return to their habitats, causing the games to be played for a while at the world's edge, where the Bloodhounds tribe on the planet Talos is located. The son of two engineers at the New Dawn industrial plant in Talos, Bloodhound was taken in by their uncle Arthur after a melting destroyed the plant and killed both of their parents. Arthur taught them the old ways, a belief system that focused on the magnificence of nature and rejected modern technology. Bloodhound took the tooth which they claimed by the creature which they thought is dead to Arthur. However, Arthur realized that they did this via technology and sent them into exile. At that moment, the creature they thought was killed raided the tribe, and in this raid, Bloodhound lost Arthur. They followed the creature to take revenge, but this time was able to defeat the creature thanks to the liquid cooling pipes provided by the technology their uncle rejected. Calling on the ancient Norse gods of the world to guide them, Bloodhound believes that destiny is a predetermined path that will eventually lead them all to death, because only with this knowledge comes power. Because until that day comes, the Bloodhound knows they can't be stopped. IMC, which was in danger of disintegrating, entered into a rebranding campaign to distance itself from the production of weapons, and started to create robotic soldiers, which it called Simulacrum, still exists nowadays with the human mind. One of these simulacrums, Caleb Cross, continued his life for a long time assuming he was human, as it was programmed into his synthetic brain. During one of his bounty hunter missions for money, he went after Marcos Andrade, one of the chief executives of Hammond Robotics, and realized that he was not human as a result of an accident during this massacre. Cross, who killed many Hammond Robotics employees along with Marcos and Alanza Andrade in this massacre, got very angry after the incident, and in order to participate in the games, killed a legend named Forge, who was planned to participate in the games during a television program and joined the games under the name Revenant as taking Forge's place. To investigate and avenge the murder of her family by a robotic monster, Loba Andrade sought to destroy the facility which she found filled with Revenant bodies in Kings Canyon. Despite having a bulletproof structure, Loba managed to destroy the facility and the Skull Town somehow. This caused Loba to find Revenant and participate in the games accordingly. While all was going on, Ramya Parekh, who owns an underground shop in Gaya, was given the Apex card by the Syndicate, which entitles her to participate in Apex games, to the young girl who was trying to sell people what she invented and repaired. No matter how hard she tried, Parekh could not find a good job in Gaya, and on top of that she lost her shop. She decided to participate in Apex games under the name Rampart, because she had nothing left. Taking part in a space mission to find a solution to an energy crisis on planet Samathi 87 years ago, Dr. Mary Summers, along with her assistant, discovered Brantium, an element near a black hole that could be the solution to this energy crisis. Having succeeded in claiming Brantium, Summers realized that she was facing a betrayal while dreaming to reunite with her son Newton and be the part of the team that saved the world. Her assistant had already trapped him in a space capsule and taken the element Brantium and was on his way to Earth. In the past 5 months in the capsule she was stuck in, Dr. Mary Summers knew that she was in the orbit of a black hole and 87 years passed on Samathi in reality. When she could manage to get back into her planet, she got surprised about what she witnessed. Her son passed away long time ago, and her hometown of Olympus was devastated by a simulacrum who betrayed her, who was later called herself Ash. In order to question this disaster and reach her son, she also participated in the games with the name Horizon. Man of women, man of men, and all-around masculine man, Walter Fitzroy grew up on Salvo, a brutal planet of turmoil, murder, and war. He spent most of his life as a mercenary with his childhood friend Maggie. When Fitzroy, who has been trying to prove himself since he was little, decided to participate in the Apex games, Maggie was uncomfortable with this thought. Not letting Walter to go without a fight, Maggie threw a bomb at Walter just before he joined the games, and he lost an arm, but Walter had no intention of giving up. During the celebrations of inclusion in Kings Canyon, Maggie made her final move, attempting to fire the ship at the audience. Realizing this, Walter, or Fuse as he was called in the games, saved people by placing a bomb in the ship's system, and joined the games by replacing his lost arm with a mechanical arm. Brave, clever, but full of rage, Kari Imahara was known as a child who constantly stealing the North Star-type Titan that belonged to her father. She was a deterministic girl who wanted to be like him in the future, and followed his footsteps in every way. But one day Viper went on a mission and never came back. Every day after that incident, she searched for the person who was responsible for what happened to her father, Commander Kuben Blisk, as known as Chief Executive of the Syndicate. She was dedicated to kill him and followed Blisk for months. When she found Blisk, she couldn't kill him, for the reasons such as honoring her father and challenging him to become a better Solider than her father. She took the Apex Games card, a way she knew she could reach her father, from Blisk's palm, and left there. With the help of Rampart, she redesigned the damaged and leftover parts of North Star, which was the only thing left to her from his father, and prepared a stylish jetpack. That was the time when she rose on her own, and has been looking for the revenge of her father in Apex Games ever since.